Hello and welcome. In this video we will talk about the different ways to invoice timesheets in Odoo. Therefore, we will have a look at the apps we need. We will learn how to configure the product for the right behavior. We will go through use cases to show the different ways to invoice timesheet. And we will invoice timesheet after validation of these. So let's first see which app we use in this video. As you can see, a few apps are installed, Project and Timesheet, already familiar to you, as well as the sales and invoicing apps. Those apps combined will allow you to configure your products, automate task creation starting from a validated sale order, invoice your timesheet in different ways, analyze if your project is profitable. Let's start with an overview of products, and therefore we will switch over to the database. As you can see, Sales and Invoicing app have been added. We will first go to the settings of the Sales app and activate the use of different unit of measure as we would like to invoice in hours. In the setting here, we enable unit of measure. Once this is validated, from the catalog menu we do access the product. Let's create our first product and we will call it video recording. Important here is to set the product type to service. Let's enter a sales price and we will change the unit of measure in hours. Now the most important part is to be found in the Invoicing tab. The fact that we have selected this product as a service enables this part. From here we will now define the behavior of our products. As you can see, we have three ways of creating the invoice. First choice, ordered quantities, meaning that the quantity sold for this product on a sale order will also be the quantity that will be invoiced regardless the quantity of hours that has been timesheeted. This will also be translated as a fixed hour in our project overview. Second choice we have is the timesheet on tasks, or also called delivered quantities, meaning that you will be able to invoice quantities of hours timesheeted on a regular basis. This will also be translated as time and material in the project overview. Third choice, the milestones. As mentioned here, you will decide yourself when you will invoice a part of a project regarding the progress of your work. This, of course, following some agreements with the clients. The service tracking offers you four possibilities. These four behaviors will be applied when validating a sale order. For this product, I will choose the third option, which is also the most common choice. So, when a sale order will be validated, a task will be automatically created in a new project. Let's save this product. But before we go further, another important data we need to enter to analyze the profitability is the cost of your employees that will work on those tasks. Therefore, we need to access the Employee app. In here, in the HR setting tab, we will find here the timesheet cost per hour. So let's enter a cost per hour for this employee. And save it. That being configured, we are now ready to see how it works through different use cases. First case we will see is the invoice ordered quantities. From the sale app, we will create a quotation. Select the client. Select our video recording product. And for here, we will set it to 10 hours. Let's now confirm the sale order. Now we see here two smart buttons that just appeared. The project overview, which will give you a complete view about what is going on for this project and so analyze your profitability. And here the button that leads you to the task that has been created. Remember, we set on the product that tasks should be created automatically. Let's access the task. And in here, we have the link to the project that has been created, which take by default the same name as your sale order. And in the timesheet tab, we have the initially planned hours that has taken over the 10 hours we just sold in the sale order. Now let's timesheet some work. We'll call it first recording session and we will add 1 hour. We'll set a second line, second recording session, and we set 2 hours. Let's save it. Go back to our sale order through this smart button. We do see here that we have 3 hours that has been spent. And let's have a look at the project overview. What can we find here? An overview of hours spent on this project. Remember that I told you before, ordered quantities are fixed hours. Well, here they are. Depending here on how your product is configured, the hours spent will appear in different groups. We also find the rates, which will be split in percentage time spent for each group. And the most important section, the profitability, with the invoiced amount, the amount that still needs to be invoiced, and the cost coming from your employees' cost. The total will show you if your project is profitable or not. From the breadcrumb, let's go back to our sale order. As mentioned before, for this project we have product for which we invoice the ordered quantity. So let's create the invoice. Create and view invoice. So we now see here that the total hours has been taken over, regardless what we have timesheeted for this project. Let's validate this invoice. Go back to our sale order. And let's go back to the project overview. We see now here that the amount has been invoiced. Second case we will see is the invoice delivered quantities. Back in our database, let's create a second product. Let's call it subtitles. Here again, choose service. We'll set the price, which will be $125. We will also set the unit of measure to hours. And now back in our invoicing tab, we'll choose here the timesheet on tasks and create a task in a new project. Let's save it and see how it works by doing the same flow as the use case before. So we start from a quotation, we create a new configuration, we will select a client, we will now select the subtitles product, we will sell here 10 hours, and we will confirm the sale order. Same behavior here. A task has been created as well as the project overview smart button. So let's go to the task. We see here that the 10 hours has been taken over from the sale order. Let's now enter some timesheet. First draft, subtitles. Let's enter 1 hour. Back into our sale order. In the project overview, we see now here that the hour we just timesheeted comes into the timesheet section. The cost has also been calculated already, and we see here, because we have spent 1 hour, we can already invoice $125, which come over with 1 hour spent. So from the sale order, we have one delivered quantity. We can now create the invoice, and you see here that 1 hour has been taken from the sale order. Let's validate and go back to the sale order. We do now see here also that one quantity has been invoiced. In the project overview, we see that we have nothing to invoice yet because no further timesheet has been added, and we have already invoiced 1 hour. Let's go back to the task and create a few more timesheets. Finishing first part. We will set here 2 hours, and we will add another one. We will call it the second draft, subtitles, and we see here that we have spent 1 more hour. We will save it. Back into our sale order. We see here that we have delivered so far 4 hours, which already 1 has been invoiced. So let's now create a invoice. Click on the invoice. And now entering the invoice, we see here that 3 more hours has been taken over from the sale order. Just going back before we validate this invoice in the project overview, we see here that we have the cost that's been added. We see here that we now have 3 more hours that can be invoiced, and we have spent 4 hours so far. So let's validate now the invoice and go back to our sale order and see what happened here. We have now 4 hours that been invoiced. In the project overview, we do now see that we have invoiced $500 so far, and there is nothing more to invoice. Our next case is about milestone. Let's have a look how to configure this product. Let's create a new product. We'll call it special effects. Same here, we set it as a service. We will set the price at 1,500, and in the invoicing tab we will choose milestone and create a new project but no task. Now, why choosing this option? Well, because we consider that each job will be different and that we will create the jobs on the fly. So as many tasks as I would like, or as necessary to finish the jobs. Let's save it and do the same flow. We create a quotation, select the client, we will select the product special effect, and we will set a quantity of 3. A small explanation here. we consider the quantity to be like a phased invoice. So here, every time we consider a phase of the project to be finished, we will invoice one quantity. Let's save it and confirm the sale order. You see here that the project overview has been created, but no task has been created. So in the project app, we see here no task is linked to this project, but we still want to follow time spent. So first what we need to do here in the setting of the project is to allow the timesheets. As said before, no task is created. Milestones are considered as an important point within the progression of your project. So you are free to create as many tasks as you wish to follow up the progress. Only when you decide to a certain level of achievement has been reached, and of course in agreement with the client, then you could create the invoice. So let's create a few tasks, and in order to have the cost linked to it, we will select also the sale order item. Click on create, enter our first task. We will call it project analyze. And from inside here, we do have the field sale order item, and we will link it to the sale order special effects. I'm now free to add initially planned hours for this job, for the project analyze, let's say 3 hours. And let's create a second task. We'll call it a video recording. In here, I will add 5 hours and save it. Now let's enter some timesheet here in those two tasks. For example, the project analyze. We're gonna add here, and we call it introduction to gap analysis. We will enter, for example, 5 hours spent. And in the other task, video recording, we will enter a description, first recording session, and enter 1 hour. From the sale order, let's have a view of the project overview. Now, what can we see here? We have timesheeted 5 hours, which are considered fixed because we have linked that task to the sale order line. And here, the second task we created, we didn't link it to any sale order. This means that actually we consider it as a totally non-billable hour. Back in the sale order, we assume that at some point we have reached the time that we can now invoice a first part of this project. In here, we need to enter manually the quantity we would like to invoice. In this case, we will deliver 1/3 of the project. So let's now create the invoice. And we see that the invoice has taken one quantity. Let's validate. Go back to our sale order. In the project overview, we do see now that we have invoiced the first part of this project. Last part of this video will bring us to invoice validated timesheet only. First thing we need to do here is to go to the timesheet app in the configuration. We need to approve timesheet only for the invoice policy. Let's save to apply it. From the sale app, let's recreate a new quotation. And for example, in this case, we will select the subtitles product. We will sell 5 hours and confirm the sale order. Our project has been created and one task has been created. Let's enter the task and enter some timesheet. First part, subtitles. And for example, we will enter 2 hours. Back into our sale order, we see here that nothing has been delivered so far. So this means that actually a validation is needed of the timesheet. We saw in the previous video how to validate the timesheet. From the timesheet app, let's go to validate. Let's just select here the timesheet and force it. We see here that I have 2 hours that I spent on the fourth sale order. So let's validate them all. And now let's go back to our sale order. And we see now here that the quantities has been added to the sales order line, which enables us now to create the invoice. And with this use case, we also end this video about the different ways to invoice timesheet. Thanks for watching.